Om 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 Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. बोलिए श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय. Hari Om. We are meeting on Chinmaya Yoga for the 40th talk after a gap of 2 weeks. And the topic today is BMI. BMI is not a body mass index as we can commonly understand. When we weigh our body and our ideal weight according to the mass of the body and the height of the body. That is not the BMI we are talking about. This BMI has been spoken of and popularized by Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda. It is basically to give a very brief mathematical equation kind of an explanation about who we are as a personality. So before we look into that, in this episodes of Chinmaya Yoga, Commit to Win and Win You Will. Win You Will. We have been looking into the book called Hasten Slowly before, and now we are taking a look at the book, A Manual of Self-Unfoldment by Swami Chinmayananda Ji. So in which earlier we saw about vasanas. Vasanas are those results that we get out of the actions we have done in the past in terms of thinking, speaking, and physically doing actions. Whatever we entertain, the thoughts we entertain, the words we speak, and the actions we do again and again bring us results. And when these results are to our like, then we get excited about it and we indulge in the same type of thinking, speaking, and actions. If we don't like it, we give a negative reaction, and that also has its own impact on our subtle body, in our experiences that we get. So Gurudev here in the same book, he dissects our experience. We are constantly experiencing something. Life is all about experience. Experience is the building block of our life. Every moment to moment to moment, we are going on experiencing something. So what is happening actually? How are these experiences happening? And how are we relating to those experiences? And how do we respond? So Gurudev says here, with a very scientific precision, he speaks about the subject of the self, where we are constantly experiencing. Who is the experiencer? The experiencer is the person who is constantly reacting to all the experiences. We know the presence of an experiencer because there is a reaction to the experience. If there is no experiencer, in the case of the physical death of the body, there is no experiencer within, and so there is no reaction within. At the present moment, I am being attacked by a couple of ferocious mosquitoes all around. So the mosquito is coming and sitting on the hand and giving a small bite. Because of that small bite, which I feel on the skin, I am responding by either driving away the mosquito, or in serious cases, if it goes on too much, then I might have to give a couple of gentle slaps also. So that is a response that is happening because of the experience of being bitten by a mosquito. So, what constitutes this experience? The subject I. I am a subject. There is a notion called I that is existing within the confines of this body, the skin of the body. Within that, there is a thought notion called the I. That is the subject. When you say I, there is no physical person inside that you can really point out and say that I am talking. The sounds are coming, the air is moving, the sound is getting expressed outside, and the meaning is conveyed. There is no physicality involved in that subject. That subject, which is non physical, which is only the form of consciousness, is I. Then the subject interacts with the object. When we say object, we normally think of some object like this. This is an object, this is a white kerchief, this is a mobile phone, or this is a water bottle. These are objects. But the objects that being referred to in Vedanta is, there are only 5 objects. Object of sight. I see this bottle, it is falling through my eyes, it is registering in the mind within, and I recognize it is a bottle, water bottle. Then sound. I hear the sound of the fan. The sound goes through my ears, it hits the tympanum, the sound gets registered within, in the space within, and I, the mind which is a repository of thoughts and experiences of the past, recognizes that it is the sound of the fan. So the I plus the sound is one object. The I plus the form of light which is reflected inside is the second object. The third object is I plus the smell, the category of smell that we experience within is the third object. Fourth object is I plus the special taste that is there in the tongue because of what we have just eaten or having drunk something. And then I plus the experience through the skin. Now the temperature outside is slightly cold. This fan is also spinning. And because of that, the coldness of the air is a little bit increased. So I experience the object of touch as a feeling of cold or as a feeling of the mosquito bite. The object can be many, many things. It can be the touch of a person. It can be the touch of gentle breeze. It can be the stinging by mosquitoes, or it can be some object falling on the body. It can be anything. The objects are many, but when I experience it, it is just the object of feeling, object of smelling, object of tasting, object of touching, and object of tasting, hearing. These are the 5 objects that we experience. So the subject I plus the mind and the sense organ which brings in the object is equal to experience. And this experience is happening continuously throughout the day. Some experiences are good, some experiences are not so good. So this experience is also actually being experienced by 4 different personalities. When we say Chinmaya Yoga, we talk about how Gurudev has, at thought level, helped us through the study of Vedanta, helped us to split our personality and split the understanding of our personality so that we have a better understanding about ourselves. So Gurudev says, one example of how the 4 personalities respond in very different ways. Suppose A cake is offered by your neighbor. You like a chocolate cake, the neighbor has baked a very tasty, gooey chocolate cake which looks yummy, and the neighbor brings it to you as a present. Now, what is happening? The experience is happening within in four different ways because of our four different layers of our personality. The first layer of the personality is a physical body which is concentrated in the sense organs. The neighbor brings the cake, the eyes see the cake. The eyes report the cake's presence to the mind, and the eyes are expectantly looking at the cake. Information is already gone, and the tongue cannot see the cake, but the eyes are reporting to the brain, and the tongue and other sense organs also know that there's some favorite object that has come in front of me. This registering is happening, and because of that, the tongue also starts watering because of the presence of cake. This is a reaction of the physical body. The physical body, because of the past experience of eating that cake, actually doesn't like or dislike the cake, but it is a mind that tells the body, I like this very much. Come on, it's really so tasty. So the body records that sound, records the experience, or records the memory. Cake plus tasty, cake good, cake like. These words are stored together inside. And so as soon as the word cake is mentioned, is heard, the mouth starts watering. That's a physical layer of the personality. The physical layer of the personality can even go very fast to say thank you and grab the cake from the person before even he changes his mind. Somehow he has been very happy with me, and so he's offering the cake. Come on, I don't want to let the opportunity go. So almost touching the cake. When he touches the cake, again the sense organ of touch also adds to the inputs, and the watering becomes even more, because any object gives us joy at three levels for us, which is told in the Vedanta. Priya. Priya is when you're in your house, your neighbor is baking the cake, and you get the smell of the cake being baked in your neighbor's house. That is called, that gives you joy. That smell from a distance itself gives you joy. And then Moda. Moda is when the neighbor is ringing your doorbell and you can see the cake in his hand. He's brought it nicely covered in a vessel. The cake has come, the cake that you like has come near you. That is called Moda. Pramoda is you have eaten the cake and the cake has become part of you. That is called Pramoda. You and the cake have become one. That is Pramoda. So at the physical level, this experience of watering, mouth-watering experience, and all the enzymes and the secretions in the body begin to churn. The dopamine is being secreted to make you go forward and go for it and get the cake. So that's a physical level. At the mental level, the mind says, wow, I like chocolate cake. The mind says. And the mind is getting ready to accept the offer. It is convincing the intellect. Come on, please say yes. And then let the body receive the cake in the hands. The mind is anticipating with anxiety. When the body is also interested, the mind is also interested. The mind-body complex party is very strong. And now the intellect is coming. No, no, no. Nothing from this fellow. He keeps fighting with me all the time. He does not really help me in any way. He gives me a lot of trouble. And now just to mollycoddle me, he's coming and bringing this cake. Say no. That is not the right thing to do, because when you receive it, you will suffer tomorrow. And also, you should not be eating the cake because you visited the doctor and the doctor said too much of sweets, you will put on a lot of weight. And so, don't take the cake, is the mind's decision. Then the spiritual body, the intellectual self, physical self, the mind self, and the spiritual self says, I attended Vedanta and I feel that I should really control my senses and eat only what is required for me, what is good for the body, and not what the mind likes. This I've been really eat for the health of the body and not for the feelings of the mind. So the mind likes it and the body is yearning for it. I'm really going to put an end to this and I'm not going to take the cake. So, if the intellectual body and the spiritual body are really very strong, then you will say, no, thank you. You will say, it's very nice of you to have offered the cake, but I don't want. But intellectual body is not very strong. It is just buddhihi karmanusarini. Whatever actions we've been doing so far, that is the decision that the buddhi will take. If you have always been eating the cake given by the neighbor, then this time too, when the neighbor offers a cake, the intellect will decide to take the cake. And if your spiritual body is not at all strong, you have just gone once for the Vedanta class, and in that just once the mention has been made, you really listened to it, but you have not taken it seriously, then the mind and the body will go for it and you will enjoy the cake. So Gurudev says, for every man, it is very easy to make the sacrifice for the more subtle. When somebody, some of your friend or somebody is coming and telling, can you cut a piece of your body and give it to me? You will say, no way, I cannot cut the piece from my body. But if there is an operation that's to be made, and that operation is threatening my own life and the rest of the body, and that particular part has to be removed, then I very willingly go and submit myself for the operation. So, the subtlest layer of our personality gives maximum joy to us. The most subtle layer is the spiritual layer. The more lesser subtle than the spiritual is the intellectual layer. Then you have the mind layer, and the grossest layer is the physical layer. So, how to identify myself? No, we cannot do anything. We cannot separate it and say this is a subtle layer of the body and hang it on a rope with a clip. And this is the intellectual layer and hang it on a clip. And then this is the physical body, keep it here. Remove the other three layers and put it out to dry. Wash it, fold it, and then put it back. You cannot do all that. How to identify with the most subtle layer in the body and live in that state? The most subtle layer is my spiritual layer. How to identify with that and then be in that state all the time? It is through eliminating vasanas. Vasanas are impressions that are formed because of our thoughts, words, and actions. When those impressions are good to us, they impact us in a good way, then we say they are punya vasanas. If the impressions impact us in a negative ways, we say they are papa vasanas. The punya vasanas also do not allow us to concentrate or meditate on ourself, because the punya vasanas divert our attention into enjoying the experiences, joyful experiences of life. The papa vasanas also will not allow us to contemplate, because the papa vasanas keep us in trouble all the time, keep us in pain, keep us in agitation, keep us in suffering, that we are concentrating on the pain, agitation, and suffering, and we are not able to meditate on the self. So both the kinds of vasanas actually are distractions for us to meditate on the self. So, what is the self that we talk about? That is the subject of today's talk. And Gurudev has given a very beautiful picture. I hope you can see it here. It's a very famous BMI chart. If you Google search for BMI chart, Pujya Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda, you will be able to get a picture of this. You can keep a picture of this in your house and contemplate on it and study. You will be able to understand what is what in your body and who you truly are. The BMI stands for body, the physical body, the mind, which is composed of my likes and dislikes. I love this, I don't like this. This is what is the nature of the mind. And then it constantly creates thoughts which are positive thoughts and negative thoughts. Positive thoughts spiral the personality in a positive and upwardly direction. Negative thoughts spiral the personality downwards into a negative direction. Upward and downward means these are the higher centers of our contemplation and consciousness. The heart center, the throat center, the eyebrow center, and the crown head center. The lower means the lower centers, the navel center, the Swadhisthana or the sacral center, and the Mooladhara, which is at the tip of the tailbone, and that is the basic center or the root center. The first three centers are lower because when the energy and consciousness is established there, we will get thoughts about survival, we will get thoughts about pleasures of the senses, we will get thoughts about establishing our will in the world. Svavakya Stapita. There is a story in Bhagavatam Mahatmyam, a lady called Dunduli. She is a very mischievous lady. She's an epitome of all kinds of evil a woman can possess. And but still, she is very good at talking. And what she does is Svavakya Kushale, Svavakya Stapita. Whatever she says, that everybody has to agree. In everybody's mind, she will establish her opinions. Opinionated woman, and she will not take no for an answer when she says something. So that is coming out of the will center, which is the navel center, which is the one that makes us thrive in this world and establish ourselves in this world. So Gurudev says, body has got sense organs. Through the sense organs, beneath the BMI, there is the P, F, and T. Beneath the body, there is the perceiver. The body is perceiving this world through the sense organs and extracting from the world through the sense organs. Perceiving the world means through the eyes, the body sees, through the ears, the body hears, through the nose, the body smells, through the taste, the body experiences, through the tongue, the body experiences taste, and through the skin, the body experiences different kinds of feelings. Then, what does the body experience? Taste, smell, touch. Through the hands, the body grasps objects. Through the mouth, the body grasps words and gives them out. Through the legs, the body grasps space and covers space with the legs. Through the reproductive system, the body expels with reproduction, and through the excretory system, the body expels waste. So through the 10 sense organs, the body is interacting with the world and perceiving the world of objects. Objects means anything that has measurement of length, breadth, and height, or qualities. All these things are objects. And all objects are actually subtle. Though they may be gross outside, when we experience them, we are experiencing them as a thought or feeling or an image in our mind. That is what we mean when we say objects. So the body perceives objects. B P O. Body perceives object. Next, the mind is there. The mind is more subtle than the body. Subtle means the mind is more pervasive than the body. The mind spills out of this body space. It is not confined inside, it is spilling out into this space. So that is why when somebody comes close to us, even if they have not touched us, they cannot really come and stand very close to us because the mind is perceiving them and it likes or it dislikes. When we like the person, we don't mind. When we like somebody, even if they accidentally stamp on our leg, we don't mind. When we don't like somebody, even if they touch us a little slowly or even come so close to us, we repel or we push them away. So that is the mind which has feelings of emotions. What does it feel? It feels emotions. And that's a subtle layer, more subtle layer than the body. Then you have the third, which is the I, M-F-E, mind, feeler, emotions. Then you have the intellect. The intellect is one that divides and knows. Now, if you look at this television screen or the mobile phone screen, the contents that you get in the screen, so many things are there in this. There is a book, there is a person, there's all these different things that the person is wearing. The mic is there. Behind the person, you can see the ground, you can see the wall behind, you can see the ceiling, you can see the tube light, you can see the windows, you can see the calendar on the windows, you can see the photographs on the wall, then you can see the door, you can see the steps behind, you can see this peacock feather dancing in the wind, you can see the two flags, you can see that one flag is orange in color and the other flag is a tricolor, and the holder of that of this flags and the peacock feathers also, you can see a chair behind, and you can see space, you can see the screen rod on top. So many things you can see in this one room, in this one screen. So this differentiation is being made by the intellect. This is different, that is different. And this intellect, by differentiating, what does it think? It thinks thoughts. So this is a dress thought, this is a person thought, this is a mic thought, this is a chain thought, this is a specs thought, this is a peacock feathers thought, there's a wind thought, there is a space thought, there's a screen rod thought, there is a no screen thought, there's a window thought, there's one window is closed thought, two windows are open thought, door is thought, door is open thought, steps thought. Everything is a thought in the mind. The intellect thinks thoughts. The body perceives objects. The mind feels emotions. The intellect thinks thoughts. You know what is the problem? When a baby is born, all this is in a very naturally beautiful condition. The body perceives objects, the mind feels emotions, the intellect thinks thought. But for the baby, the body perceives object is very, very clear for it, because everywhere it goes around, even it goes swimming around the house, it will take up every object and it will learn through tasting the object. Even the eyesight, vision may not be very clear, or it may not be understanding or make out what it is seeing, because the intellect is not developed in the baby. The mind is very, very dormant. The body is very conscious as far as the baby is concerned. When the baby becomes a little big, a youth, so the youth begins to express likes and dislikes. So the mind of the youth is feeling emotions, the emotion of love, the emotion of anger, the emotion of hatred, the emotion of jealousy. Emotion means that there is some energy in motion and that is different. It is giving a different experience inside. So there is a subject and the object is the emotion here. The intellect is there. The thinker inside is feeling. What is that thinker feeling? Thoughts. There are different thoughts. The intellect is feeling thoughts. When all this is very in perfect condition, when there are good objects, good emotions, and good thoughts, they don't affect us. When there are confused objects, confused emotions, and confused thoughts, they affect us. When there are negative objects, negative emotions, and negative thoughts, they affect us. Even with good objects, good emotions, and good thoughts, if we spend a lot of time with them, our energy will be dissipated. So, what actually disturbs this whole thing is this this thing called we here: body, perceiver, objects, mind, feeler, emotions, intellect, thinker, thoughts. In between this, there's something called we. This we is called vasana. Vasana is my expressions in the world outside in the form of thoughts, words, and actions, goes out into the world and then has its own, in its own time, it comes back to me in a very subtle form and subtle form of feelings and thoughts, and it comes and settles in me. It just goes around. What goes around comes around. It's a law of karma. So vasana is caused by our actions done in the past, our thoughts that we thought in the past, whatever words we spoke in the past. So in whatever manner we let out into the world, in that manner we will get back. If we let out physical action in terms of agitation into the world, then we will get physical agitation coming back to us. If we let out mental agitations into the world by being jealous of someone, by being afraid, by being angry, by being hateful, by being spiteful, by being fearful, by being fearsome, by spiting others, by hurting others, by ignoring others, when we express ourselves through the mind, we will get that back in return. When we express ourselves as words, we will get back the same with more power as words. When we say something, when it comes back with greater power. And so that is called vasanas. We experience those vasanas. How do we know we have vasanas? We can feel so many things, and the feeling has got a thought layer that is called, the feeling is like the essence inside. It is covered by a thought. And if we can think and feel something, then it means there is vasana is expressing in us. So vasanas, they find a place in us. We know their presence by the thoughts we think, by the emotions we feel, and by the sensations of the body. Sensations means, what sensation is my eyes giving me? What sensation is my ears giving me? What sensation is my nose giving me? What sensation is my tongue giving me? What sensation is my skin giving me? What sensations, what words are coming out of me when I speak? What type of actions am I doing with my hand? What are the kind of places that I'm going to on a day-to-day basis? What am I reproducing? Am I reproducing great poetry, great prose, great music? Or am I reproducing every day great trouble, great calamity, great danger, great nuisance to the world outside? Reproduction is not only of human beings. Reproduction is also the qualities and the activities that we give as an output into the world. And then what thoughts am I thinking? All this are the vasanas that are contained. But even on top of the vasanas, you have something called Om. The Om is the core of my personality. When I discount the vasanas, when I negate the vasanas, or when I work through sadhana to sublimate the vasanas, sadhana means when I meditate, when I do japa, when I chant, when I go to the temple, when I pray, when I worship, when I do my work as an offering to the divine without expecting any particular result for myself, or rather accepting whatever result I get. And then when I express love to God and to other human beings around me, and when I think very noble thoughts consciously, then I am purifying my vasanas through sadhana. But the vasanas don't get purified only because of my effort. It is the outer intention of this universe. It is a grace of Bhagavan, the grace of Ishvara, that can completely purify the vasanas. The vasana purification and our effort is like, I can try to go to sleep by making the room dark, by keeping the bed very tidy, soft and comfortable, by having a nice fragrance in the room, and then by switching off all the noises, all the mobile phones and other computer equipment, switching them off, and then preparing the whole room and quietly lying down and go to sleep. But this is all only the preparation that I can do, and I can go to sleep. But the sleep has to come to us. The sleep has to happen to us. We cannot make the sleep happen. In the same way, I put all my efforts to reduce my vasanas, to remove my vasanas. Ultimately, these vasanas or thought impressions go away only with the grace of the divine, only with the grace of the Guru or the divine in us. The thought expressions, the thought impressions will go away. Once these thought impressions are cleared, then there is no block between my own personality outside, comprising the body, mind, and intellect, and the Omkara, or that cosmic sound that is present in me as my own self. I experience that Om as my own self, from which is a substratum for all the experiences. When I am putting many objects, one object here, another object here, another object here, and I'm putting so many objects, or many objects are coming, there should be a substratum that handles all the objects. Without that substratum, the object cannot stand, it will fall down. In the same way, the experiencer is the substratum for all the different experiences through the senses, through the mind, and through the intellect that we experience. And vasanas are the impediments between the self and the different experiences that we have. And when these vasanas go away, I experience the self completely as Om, as the cosmic sound, the cosmic energy that is present everywhere in this universe. There is no place in this universe where Om is not there. In the same way, there is no place in this universe where I or consciousness is not there. This consciousness, which is a substratum in which we process all our experiences within, is present abundantly everywhere, is alone present everywhere, and that consciousness is I, that is a self. Realizing that self by purging the mind of all the vasanas and experiencing that self is the purpose of yoga, is the purpose of all our spiritual and religious practices. So we will come to this same part next week, Sunday, 6 to 6:30 at Chinmaya Yoga. ओम सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु, सर्वेषां शांतिर्भवतु, सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु, सर्वेषां मंगलं भवतु, सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। असतो मा सद्गमय, तमसोर्मा ज्योतिर्गमय, मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते, पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। बोलिए श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। हर नमः पार्वती पतये, हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम।